Have you ever heard of a real-life vampire hunt? Not in a movie, not in a dusty old book, but in London, in 1970. It's a story that proves just how quickly fear can spiral out of control, turning a local spooky tale into a full-blown public panic. It all started in Highgate Cemetery, one of London's most beautiful and eerie graveyards. In the late 1960s, a local newspaper started getting strange letters. People were reporting seeing a tall, gray figure lurking among the tombstones. Some said it had glowing red eyes. The stories were unsettling, but they were just stories. At first, soon, the figure was being described as a ghostly apparition, a phantom that seemed to float through the cemetery's locked gates. The press dubbed it the Highgate Vampire, and the name stuck. This is where things get really weird. The media attention attracted to local men, both involved in the occult scene, David Ferrant and Sean Manchester. They saw the Highgate Vampire story as a golden opportunity. Suddenly, they were all over the newspapers, each claiming to be the expert who could deal with this supernatural menace. They started a very public rivalry, a sort of magical duel played out in the pages of the local paper. Manchester, in particular, had a flair for the dramatic. He claimed this wasn't just any ghost. He declared it was a king vampire, a medieval nobleman who had practiced black magic in Wallachia, a region of Romania. According to his story, this vampire-esque coffin had been brought to England by his followers in the 18th century and buried in Highgate, where he now lay dormant, waiting to rise again. Ferrant, on the other hand, insisted it was a more conventional spirit, a ghost that needed to be exorcised, not staked. Their public feud fanned the flames of public interest. They announced plans to hunt the creature, each one trying to outdo the other. The tension built and built until it reached a breaking point on a very specific, very spooky date, Friday the 13th of March, 1970. That evening, a major news channel, ITV, aired an interview where Manchester dramatically called for people to join him in his vampire hunt. The effect was immediate and chaotic. It was like someone had lit a match in a powder keg. Within hours, a huge crowd descended on Highgate Cemetery. We're not talking about a handful of curious onlookers. We're talking about a mob of hundreds of people. They came from all over London, armed with whatever they could find. People were carrying homemade wooden stakes, crucifixes, and even strings of garlic. The police were completely overwhelmed. The crowd surged over the cemetery walls and through the iron gates, a frantic torchlit mob spreading out among the Victorian tombs. It was absolute pandemonium. They were looking for the vampire's crypt, a specific tomb Manchester had identified. They clambered over graves, tore open vaults, and frantically searched for any sign of the undead. The scene must have been terrifying. The night was filled with shouts and the sound of people scrambling through the ancient graveyard. Of course, they didn't find a vampire. What they left behind was a scene of desecration. Tombs were damaged, and the sanctity of the place was shattered. In the weeks and months that followed, things got even darker. The hysteria didn't just fade away. There were reports of animal sacrifices in the cemetery. And then came the most disturbing discoveries of all. Corpses were found disturbed. Some had been pulled from their coffins, beheaded, and even charred, with stakes driven through their chests. The police believed this wasn't the work of a supernatural monster, but of humans caught up in the vampire panic, performing their own gruesome rituals. The rivalry between Ferrant and Manchester didn't end there either. They continued their feud for years, even challenging each other to a magician's duel on Parliament Hill. Both men were arrested at different times for their activities in the cemetery. The Highgate vampire case is a powerful reminder of how mass hysteria can take hold. It started with a few ghost stories, and, fueled by media sensationalism and two charismatic rivals, it exploded into a real-life monster hunt that led to chaos and desecration. It shows that sometimes, the most frightening thing isn't the monster in the shadows, but the fear that lives inside all of us. What do you think? Was there ever a real entity in Highgate, or was it all just a product of overactive imaginations? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into history's strangest events.